Welcome back to Born of Unsilenced Voices on March the 14th, 2026. This is a space for truth spoken without fear, without apology, and without permission. This is not entertainment. This is testimony. I hope everyone is well and enjoying yourselves this week. Take a moment to like and subscribe because I want to hear the real you. With that said, let's step into the truth. If you see that this room looks a little smoky, I needed to sage my energy. And yes, my ass is burning. But anyways, just because you may encounter negativity on your day-to-days going abouts does not mean you need to spread that on everything and everyone around you. Please do not act like those ignorants that walk the streets. People didn't ask for that. Today, I'm going to share a part of myself that may be triggering for some people. But I have to ask something honestly. How do we heal if we never face the things that held us hostage? Silence may protect others, but it does not heal the person that went through it. So I'm choosing honesty. I said in my video entitled, I walked away. Be careful what you pray for. That my second ex-husband was abusive in every sense of the word. In many ways, he reminded me of my father, a child in an adult body. From a child's point of view, my father was many things. A jokester, a con man, crafty, skilled as a carpenter, a womanizer, a predator, a ticking time bomb. To his children, he could sometimes be loving, but even that love felt like we were being shown off like prized horses. He was a multifaceted 5'2" force of energy who could make people want to be around him. Yet most of the time, you wished you had never known him, or worse, that you weren't even one of his children. Knowing and seeing what and who all I have. This is why I allow people to hang themselves by their own ropes. I lived among people who were abused by him, yet were so afraid of him that they covered his crimes. And somehow they expected me to crumble under his abuse, while still carrying deep love for him. For years, I watched a man harm his children and the women he was with in ways that are hard even to describe. And he called it love. When my sister and I visited him on the weekend, we would have to sleep with our money in our bras just so that it wouldn't get stolen. This man would literally buy us McDonald's with our own money and act like nothing was wrong. But here's the part that always puzzled me. These so-called loving family allowed a child to figure out on her own and suffer through it for years. And when I say years, I mean years. To this day, I do not know if my father had Alzheimer's or dementia. To a child, they don't know when the table is going to turn and that person is not going to be themselves. But what I do know is this. My mother and older siblings, none of which I claim today, left me in his presence to figure out what was wrong with him, to endure whatever came with it. There were many times I stood up to my father. I took the hits meant for my siblings because I somehow felt like their bodies wouldn't be able to handle those blows. What I didn't understand at the time was that something was changing inside of me. The fear I once had as that child began turning into unyielding strength. I remember saying to my father, "Oh, so this is how you love. This is what makes you feel like a man." Maybe that sounded foolish, but I told you all, yes, I had a mouth on me even back then. But I needed him to see something clearly. The little girl standing in front of him was not afraid. He and the people who hid what he was were the ones who should feel shame. Not me. I didn't do anything wrong. Neither did any of you. I told my mother years ago, when my father dies, do not ask me to come, because I will not go. Some families use fear and guilt to force cooperation. But understand something. That says more about how they move through life than it ever will about you or me. That is exactly why CQ has nothing to do with those ignorant people. Just because I may forgive you doesn't mean I'll allow you around me or mine. In the days before my father's death, the tension with my family grew heavy. My patience was short. My moods was hot. My sister asked me to visit our father in the hospital and take pictures of him because she wasn't in town yet. That felt so ridiculous to me. This is not a time where you take pictures of a dying person. This is a time where you allow them to transition in peace. I don't even remember if I took those pictures. What I remember is what I saw. I hadn't seen my father in years. When I walked into that room, I was looking at a shell of a man. I could see where every bone connected beneath his skin. My older daughter came with me, but I refused to let her come in the room. That is not an image she needed to carry in her mind. When I looked into my father's eyes, there were moments when he was present, and then suddenly he wasn't. His gaze was far out. I found myself getting lost in it. It felt like I was looking into the cycle of his entire life. The torment of everything he had been and everything he had done. I remember all the times when I would visit him at his apartment, I would see him staring into a TV screen that was just staticky. Years later, I realized something. He had already come to terms with his life sentence, but I didn't realize that at the time. In the moment of seeing him at the hospital, all I knew was this, that I had to leave that room, because if I had stayed, I might have been pulled into that darkness too. Gwendolyn once told me that I would regret not attending his funeral. The truth? I regret going to the hospital. I regret going to his funeral. There are times I wish I had never seen inside his head like that. But I also believe it happened for a reason, because it taught me something important. We must be very careful about the things we project onto others, because those same projections can be our life sentences. And be very careful who and what you are protecting. Love doesn't cost our life. Toward the end of my video entitled "Escape Didn't Save Me, I Remember Everything," I asked a question. Why do so many people lie on obituaries? See, that question was meant for this video. If you know who that person is that passed away, and the people know who come to the funeral, and God definitely knows, then who exactly are those lies for? And how far has hiding the truth ever really gotten anyone? God's people, do not hold on to lies and hatred. Release it. Free yourself. Do not throw salt back like they did. Live your life and let the forgotten remain forgotten. If you like the video, please feel free to donate. All of my information is in the description box below. Thank you.